Hello and welcome to Election Brief. And coming up on the show today, governing NPP prepares to acclaim President Akufo-Addo as its presidential candidate and sets June 20 date for the party's parliamentary primaries.
President Akufo-Addo is the sole candidate of the new Patriotic Party.
We'll speak to the party on the modalities agreed for the upcoming internal elections. Meanwhile, pollster Benefson predicts a massive reduction in votes for the governing NPP as he accuses the party of disenfranchising contenders within the NPP.
The NPP candidate Nana Akufo-Addo could enter 2020 elections minus 400 to 450,000 votes. Who the NDC picks at running mate and how they've been able to ginger, because there was a lot of apathy.
Also, Supreme Court orders Electoral Commission to justify the rejection of old voters' ID as requirement for getting a new one. We have details. And President Rawlings has been speaking on the new voters' register as his party marks 41 years since the June 4th uprising. I'm Maraba Kumsin. Welcome to the show. Let's start with the governing NPP, which says it will soon publicly acclaim President Akufo-Addo as its presidential candidate for the December 2020 polls as it sets June 20 for its parliamentary primaries. The election, which was expected to have come off on April 25th this year, was postponed indefinitely due to the outbreak of COVID-19. General Secretary of the party, John Boedu, has been given further details of a steering committee meeting held yesterday, which had the President and Vice President Baumia in attendance.
The party decided that its parliamentary primaries will come on June 20th, 2020. In all the 168 constituencies that we have sitting members of parliament. We also decided that we will hold these elections at the various electoral commission demarcated electoral areas in order to ensure that we respect the measures put in place by government to protect ourselves and protect our members. We also ensure that all the social distance protocols are observed, and we believe that we'll be able to have a successful conference. We will later come out with rules and regulations guiding this parliamentary primaries, and also come out with a total list of all members contesting on our ticket as decided by the National Executive Committee.
Well, some MPs have welcomed the party's decision to settle on June 20 for its primaries. Here's MP for Pandai, Matthew Nyindam, and MP for Impriso, Seth Achampong.
I think I must admit that these elections, these primaries, has been, let me say, some kind of pressure on members of parliament. Days have come, days have to be postponed, and COVID-19 has come to worsen the issues. But for now, we have no choice. We all have to respect the protocols, because you cannot get or gather more than 100 people at a go. Whether you like it or not, this is what we can make do with. And we should not be breaking the rules. We should not be breaking the protocols. Yes, it's going to bring additional costs, but I think it's best for us at this particular time, because we have just 6 months to go. We cannot play with it again, because we don't know what even tomorrow is bringing. Looking at the pandemic and its behavior, we cannot tell. But we are just praying that this 20th that we have, yes, additional costs will come. Yes, additional human resources have to be deployed. But at the end of the day, I think this is the best thing that we can all adopt. And I think members of parliament are okay with it.
The political party, this is an internal exercise. Right. The political party knows her people. If the people who are going to decide our fate, I can say, as we speak, over 80% are set up in their mind. So the next 20% are what we will be, following up on and talking to and dealing with them. I know that most of the delegates have made up their minds. Just a few who may still be observing.
So far, I would say I'm okay with it because it's been long. The long-awaiting primaries will have to come off so that at the end of the day, the party can be fully prepared to win the 2020 elections. And I think that so far, almost everybody from the caucus is okay with the dates and the procedures they are putting in place, which is going to be the electoral area basis, and collation will be done at the constituency head. The voting will be done, counting will be done at the electoral area basis, but collation of the results will be done at the constituency head. I think that every member of parliament is prepared enough, and I'm very sure that my members will come back in good numbers.
We have to go through the ritual. The ritual is that there must be a competitive elections to have a candidate for the party in each constituency, where nominations were open prior to the current issues we are dealing with in respect of the pandemic.
So you had some MPs there. Well, the party also indicated that it was set to acclaim President Akufo-Addo as its candidate for the upcoming elections.
The National Council of our party also accepted a report from the National Vetting Committee that indicated that at the opening and closing of nomination for presidential candidature of our party, it is only one person, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana, who filed at the end of the closing of nomination. So the National Council have endorsed that decision that Nana Addo Akufo-Addo is the sole candidate of the New Patriotic Party, and very soon we will communicate to the general public his acclamation.
And Sami Oku is national organizer of the governing NPP. He joins us via Zoom. Many thanks for your time, Mr. Oku. Now, a lot were eagerly anticipating, this new date for the upcoming primaries. But tell us, what factors did the party consider before arriving on the new date?
Well, let me say a very good afternoon to you and your cherished viewers. For us in the NPP, we've come a long way with this parliamentary primaries. At a point in time when we were set to have it on the 25th of April, we had this lockdown and then the restrictions period. So the party had to postpone it indefinitely. Yesterday, at a sitting of the National Executive Committee, that is the body clothed with the responsibility of fixing the date, the venue, the time for our parliamentary primaries, and also to approve the reports of the National Parliamentary Vetting Committee and the National Parliamentary Appeals Committee to also look at the recommendations and thereof, and for the National Executive Committee to either adopt in whole or in part, or also to amend the various recommendations made or submitted to it by the National Parliamentary Vetting Committee and the National Parliamentary Appeals Committee. However, the steering committee of the party in between this period also had the opportunity to also go through and also make some recommendations as well. So the National Executive Committee of the party yesterday had to listen to recommendations from the National Parliamentary Vetting Committee, the National Parliamentary Appeals Committee, and the recommendations of the steering committee. And then looking at the circumstances, the wisdom of the National Executive Committee, we subsequently fixed the 20th of June for our national parliamentary primaries. That is for the 168-1 constituencies. When I say 168-1, I also West Woburn, which would have made it the 169th constituency. We excluded it, and this decision was taken somewhere last year by the National Executive Committee and National Council, respectively. So we are all set for June 20th. It's going to take place between the hours of 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. and it's going to be decentralized. in the sense that it's going to be conducted on electoral area basis across the country. We're looking at a total of 3,900 electoral areas across these 168 constituencies of the party. Tomorrow, the party will also come out with a full list of the various candidates who made it through the vetting and the appeal processes of our party. So this is a summary of it.
Right. So if I understand you correctly, it's in 2 weeks. The primaries are happening in 2 weeks. Around 2 weeks.
All things being equal.
All things being equal. But how do you respond to suggestions that the time frame is too close and that it will not, give the aspirants enough time to campaign?
And when you say the time is too close, are you talking about for the general elections or that's of the primaries?
I'm talking about the primaries, sir.
Well, basically, I mean, those of us in this game and in this game of politics as well, we know they've been campaigning, is assumed. And in any case, it was going to be conducted on the 25th of April. So this is more in excess of almost 2 months. So in the wisdom of the National Executive Committee, we know that the time is short, but we also do acknowledge the fact that they themselves have been canvassing and meeting delegates all this while. Had it not been the COVID-19 and the restrictions that we had, we should have been done in parted ways with this process.
Speaking of the COVID-19 and the restrictions, the protocols, how do you intend to, carry out the exercise whilst adhering to the social distancing protocols?
Well, for us as a party, we've also put in place measures. Mind you, we sent Veronica buckets and PPEs during the restrictions period. Subsequently, we are also making available hand sanitizers and face masks and other PPEs to the various delegates who will be trooping there to cast their ballots on the 20th of June. So we've taken all that into consideration. We will also ensure that we do not flout the directives of His Excellency the President and that of the health authorities.
Right.
That's in accordance with our health protocol.
Right.
Okay. Ensure this social distancing and all that we need to do to make sure our delegates and our party people are safe during this process.
So hold on for me, because pollster Benefson has been analyzing the chances of your party. Listen.
One thing is clear. There's going to be absence of large crowds. There are 2 or 3 potholes which could affect the voting pattern. One, who the NDC picks at running mate and how they've been able to ginger, because there was a lot of apathy on the part of their supporters. 2, the NPP will be having their primaries on June 30th. Most of the safe seats of the NPP, they won between 11,000 and 13,800. If they persist in trying to disenfranchise or disqualify contenders, and there is a level of apathy, we did that work towards last year, towards the book I'm finishing. The NPP candidate, Nana Akufo-Addo, could enter 2020 elections minus 400 to 450,000 votes, because if, for example, I support Roland and Roland has been disqualified, I will not get up and vote, and I know that maybe the party won the seat by 11,000. If you take 4,000 people per constituency, 4,000 times at least 100 safe seats, that makes it 400,000. So these are some of the pitfalls that could affect their chances and voting pattern.
All right. Mr. Oku, you heard him. He says if you insist on disenfranchising or disqualifying contenders, you risk, losing votes within your own party.
Well, I think we also need to be factual here. It's a process. And once the person picked nomination forms, the person subjected himself to the process of scrutiny. The person also subjected himself to the process of vetting. And after vetting, if the person doesn't make it, the person has an option to appeal. Subsequently, after the appeal process, it goes to National Executive Committee. So it's not a case of if someone doesn't like you at the Parliamentary Vetting Committee level, you don't get any opportunity to make it to the next step. In any case, we consider people who had gone through the vetting and then subsequently someone appealed against their nomination, and then they had to be disqualified. You also have instances of people who were vetted out at the parliamentary vetting committee level, but then upon appeal, they were also reinstated. So it's not a cut for all basis. We consider case-by-case basis, we make analysis of it, and as a political party we take political decisions too as well.
All right. Many thanks for your time. That is Sami Ewuku. He is national organizer of the governing NPP. Now, let's speak to those seeking to contest the incumbents. Mike Okoye Jr. is contesting the Dome Kwabenya seat. He joins us via Zoom. Mike, do you feel you are at a disadvantage because the time is too short to campaign and reach out to delegates, especially in the wake of the coronavirus outbreak?
Well, I don't know. Do you mean disadvantage as to the 20th date or as to the general election? To the
20th date. We're speaking about the primaries, the upcoming primaries.
Oh, no, not at all, not at all. I think we have all been in readiness, waiting on the sidelines. We understand the unfortunate situation of the COVID-19 pandemic in Ghana. We are even lucky that because it's been well managed, the president has been able to open up a bit more in terms of the social protocols. So for some of us, we were ready in earnest. We were ready even for the 13th. But we are reliably informed that the EC would not have been able to get the materials ready for as early as the 13th. That is why the 20th. So I must say congratulations to the party for finding a solution. And in fact, we were all ready to go earlier. And so the 20th is even a bonus of an extra week to do a few mop-up and wrap up with the campaign so that the NPP can present its candidates for the general election in December.
All right, that's Mike Okoye Jr. He's contesting the Dome Kwabenya seat. I'm sure that we'll be having more conversations as we go ahead.